Welcome back. This week we are trying to introduce three Excel skills that could be very handy and useful when we are doing descriptive analysis. The first one is the count, and if you already have this open, it is on page 5 of the handout. The second one is sum if or sum ifs. And the third one would be the XLOOKUP. If you have any prior experiences working with VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP would be an easier alternative, and it should not be very hard to grasp. Okay, let's get started. The first one, Countif. It returns the number of cells that meet a specified criterion. For example, in the totals row here that I'm just highlighting, okay, well, we're trying to understand how many occurrences are there for the pizza to delivered either in wrong way or in a correct way. We can start the function by typing a sign and use the keyboard to type Countif. Since we only have one criterion, that is how many force or how many shoes are there in this column, right? Only one criterion, we only have to use Countif. But for multiple criterions, then we would like to use Countifs. Okay. For Countif, the range we would like to specify here would be the column O. Okay. Sometimes we need to specify specifically the range, say O1 till O37, right? But for this data, we do have over 1,000 rows, and it is not convenient for us to do that. So what we can do is that we just specify the column, and for the criterion, simply put how many cells that contains the text force. For this one, since there are no numbers, we would like to calculate. The criterion would only be dealing with text, and we would like to use a double quotation mark here, and then type force. Excel returns the number 1,122. We can do this in the same manner. Start with Countif. Specify the range as the first argument. Separate the first argument and the second argument with the comma. Then specify the criterion, how many shoes we would like to find, and complete this with an enter. Okay. But for the third one, it's a bit tricky because, well, what about missing data? Okay. Missing data means that this cell contains, let me scroll down a bit and let's try to locate a missing cell. Okay. This one, it does not have any content here, right? So let me scroll down even more, going to the end of the data. What if we're seeing here after the last day, if we're still doing the same thing, ask Excel to look for the blank values in this column, Excel may just look and look and look and non-stop even after counting everything above, but still doing the counting afterwards. For this reason, let me go back. We would like to specify the range in a more accurate way. Countif, and we are trying to type manually the first cell. Here would be O2, and also the last cell, which would be O. I think it's 1210. Let me double check. We can scroll down and see. Okay. Yes, it's 1210, so it looks fine. Then we are going to specify the criteria. Since there was no value we are trying to look for, we can just use a double quotation mark and leave nothing in between. Press enter to complete this function. There are a total of 4 occurrences. We have seen missing data. But how about we would like to specify 2 criterions at the same time? Okay, the criterion 1 would be we would like to ask Excel to look for the driver and find how many times a driver has successfully delivered the pizza. Okay, so now instead of using Countif, we are using Countifs. So one more letter. Okay, now we can specify multiple criteria. The first criterion we would like to specify would be look after the driver's column. This is the range we would ask Excel to look for. And what is the criterion? It is the name of the driver, right? Since the name has been listed here, we could just do a cell reference. But however, since the cell reference do not specify the exact word, we would like to let Excel know that this is the word, the text information we would like to use. Okay, instead of using R4 directly, we would like to use a double quotation mark to enter the information and specify, well, this is the name, the text information that we really need. And for the second criterion and second range, we are trying to locate also the run pizza column, the O column, and we are trying to find how many force has been recorded. So let's just manually type force. Since we've been using this consistently, okay, column and a cell reference, another column and a force, right? We can just do a autofill and ask Excel to count all the occurrences automatically and double check the answer. And we can do the same thing for the run pizza count, but the only difference is that instead of specifying also the driver's column, Okay. Criterion would be whether the driver is the name, okay, and we would like to extract the name by using a double quotation mark and a ampersand. Let's ampersand and join this with the cell reference here. For the second range and second criterion, the range does not change. The criterion has been changed to 2 instead of force, right? And we can apply this. And the third one, yes, the same thing. How about let me drag it and modify the range a bit. We're still looking at the driver's column, so still the J column, and we are still looking at the run pizza column. The O column. Okay. But now instead of looking at the value 2, we are now looking for the empty cell. So we don't need anything in between the double quotation marks. And we can drag it down. Okay, now which one is that? The cell reference has been changed to 95, but the cell we really want is R4, the name of the driver. Let me do it again. So there are 2 occurrences that this driver have not recorded any data, and this driver farmer, okay, had also 2 missing data. For the grand total, well, we can just use sum to calculate how many times this driver has been working, how many orders he has been taking. Okay, but also we can use count again. Say how many times count if in this range we were saying the name okay, there are 96, both words. We can even do this. And for the error rate, we know it could be the number of occurrences that wrong pizza was delivered over the total occurrences that this driver has been taking orders. And we would like to specify this as a percentage number. And calculate the total. It turns out that on average, the error rate was about 6.78.